Hey everyone, and welcome to a sort of special video on the Daredevil Born Again situation that's going on at the moment. I had kind of planned to do a short on this slash TikToks, etc. as I usually do, but this felt kind of big and it felt like it needed a proper discussion in the way a long form video can handle. So I kind of want to get straight into it. What the problems are, what's going on, why people are kind of concerned, etc. Some of it I think is overboiled, over concerned as per usual with the MCU, the Marvel, the superhero fandom. But also I think some of this is legitimate concerns and something that I am not too happy with as well. So to begin with, we do know that obviously Charlie Cox is back. He was already Daredevil in No Way Home and She-Hulk, so he is off to the side. We know he's playing Daredevil. Vincent D'Onofrio, the same. He is playing Kingpin. He's already been confirmed. Obviously, he was in Hawkeye, but he's already been confirmed to be in Echo and in Daredevil. So again, that's to the side. That's irrelevant. Those two are great. It's glad to have those. We're glad to have those back in their role. Again, with Jon Bernthal will be returning and reprising his role as Punisher in this. And we do believe, the rumors seem to suggest, that Kristen Ritter might appear as Jessica Jones. So those are the four that we're kind of aware of. We know it's going to happen. We can put those off to the side, box them away for the time being. We will kind of come back on that, but I think they're fine as they are for now. Now, we also actually, to add to that, we did also see at one point Mike Colter might return as Luke Cage, but that was rumor as well. So again, those characters may return. Those characters are returning. We'll put those away for the time being. Now, what we do know is that the actors of Karen and Foggy from the Netflix Daredevil show aren't returning as of yet, as far as we're aware. Now, personally, I didn't jive with these characters as much as other people did. So it wasn't a big loss to me when I first heard the news. I thought, oh, they're going to go in a different direction. Matt might be alone in this series. We might see another side to Matt. We might see a different type of story, and that was generally okay with me. I have nothing against their portrayals. I just didn't gel with those characters as much as I did other characters in the kind of Netflix verse. So it was okay. It was fine by me. If they weren't there, that wasn't going to kill the show for me instantly. For some people it would, and I understand that, and I do actually get it. Sometimes supporting characters are as much the heart of a show as anything else, and I can get where they're coming from with that. And so it's very sad to see those actors not returning in that sense, but I thought it would be okay. Now, why I'm saying thought is that now we're hearing that Sandrine Holt will be playing Vanessa Fisk in Daredevil Born Again. Now, that's very weird because that's a very specific recast. Now, obviously, recasts have happened in the MCU before, when Rhodey was taken over by Don Cheadle. And, for example, as well, Gemma Chan has played two characters in the MCU. So we've had moments where, there's been actor changes / actor reusage, etc. It's happened before. And to be honest, it's generally just the idea of, you're producing a living universe. It's going to happen sometimes where you have characters and actors and such like reappear / change / do something else. Now, obviously, most instances that's kind of that was in the infancy of the MCU / it was in a situation where it was incapable to do anything else, like the Harrison Ford recast for General Ross coming up. Now, that's understandable, right? Those are understandable ones. You can't do much about them. If you want to use that character still, you need to find a way to use them, obviously by way of another actor. Now, this is a little bit different because, in my opinion, personally, why would they, in my thinking, bring these characters back, a lot of the Netflix cast, and then not intend to fully bring back other characters, such as, again, Deborah Ann Woll, and I forget the Foggy's actor's name, I apologize, but bring those actors and actresses back as well. Now, personally, again, not a big deal for me, but now we have Sandrine Holt playing Vanessa Fisk, who was previously played by Eilert Zura. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm butchering that. Who was a great Vanessa, by the way, and was really great in scenes with Vincent D'Onofrio. And instead of bringing her back, which obviously could be for a million reasons, she might not have wanted to come back. She might have had conflicts, the stuff that happens. We have a situation now where I know it's kind of meta in a sense. We have a new Vanessa that doesn't fit with the pathos and the kind of emotional investment we have in this Kingpin. Now, if it was a different Kingpin, it would be the same. We'd build up from the start. Like, for example, in Miles's movie, what's it called? Spider-Verse. I forgot its name. Into the Spider-Verse? No, is that the next one? You know what I mean? The animated Spider-Man movie. Wow, I forgot it. It's gone off the top of my head. But that was a new Fisk that we understood his devotion to his wife and his son in that very quickly. Now, that could be the same here if we had a new Fisk. Now, I don't want a new Fisk. I like D'Onofrio. But I'm saying if you're going to recast, you should have kind of recast the majority, right? Maybe one or two that you wouldn't. Now, I have some theories as to what this is. Now, there has been kind of a reset of the universe in the more recent stuff. Not a reset, that's the wrong word, but multiversal stuff is going on, right? And also, there's the snap, etc. There's different stuff going on. Now, like these are my options. These are my things that I kind of I don't even know how to put it. Hypothesizing, theorizing, headcanoning as potentially ways that this could work without it being it being devastating to the actual initial Netflix show, if that makes sense. Not that the Netflix show is dead and gone. It's still there. You can watch it and still enjoy it. You can still be a fan of it. But ways to rectify the two together. So, firstly is assuming that the Netflix Daredevil is from a different universe, which that one's probably the easiest one. Second is that this Vanessa is not the same Vanessa. It's a bit contrived, but there could be another Vanessa that Fisk falls in love with. Is she the same character? I mean, also the thing is, not to say that Hollywood Reporter is wrong, because they might not be and they probably aren't. But what if, for example, it was just said that like in the briefing or the rumor that Sandrine Holt will be playing Fisk's wife, and that actually people have assumed Vanessa. These things can happen. So I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, okay, straight away, this is bad, because it might not be. There might be an explanation. Also, in the comics, like, for example, Fisk has had other wives. He had, I think, in Devil's Reign, I was reading not long ago, he had Mary. I don't know if that was Typhoid Mary, by the way. I don't think it was, but Mary, he's with this woman called Mary and that. And so there's other characters that, or you could create a wife for Fisk, you could create an extra wife, like not an extra wife, that sounds like he has two, but you know what I mean, like a wife that wasn't in the comics. You could do that very easily. Not to say that that's obviously the case, but again, there's ways around, this idea. We don't know necessarily that she's playing Vanessa. We don't know for 100%. It hasn't been said in anything. It could be not happening, basically. But if it is, consider that Netflix Daredevil might not be the primary 616 Daredevil, so to speak. And I hate using 616, but it's what they said, so, kind of got to go with it. Another one that I think is sort of interesting is what if something's going on plot-wise that relates to this? Now, obviously, this is very unlikely, and I doubt it's this in-depth for a Daredevil TV show. But what if, for example, this has been some kind of... What if it's something to do with the Skrulls, for example? Or what if it's... for example, in one of the comics, you have Fisk knows the identity of Daredevil, Matt Murdock, which I think happened in the Netflix show, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's been ages since I've watched it. And basically, the way he doesn't know the identity is anymore is that Kilgrave's children, this gets complex, Kilgrave's children make him forget, but he remembers that he's forgotten something. Now, I'm not saying this gets really complex, but what if the idea is you could take some kind of base idea of that and say, this Vanessa isn't actually Vanessa. It's that she's like, Fisk has somehow, how do I put it? That someone is trying to infiltrate Fisk's life in some way. It's a thought. It's a potential idea. I don't see it. It's like very wild. It's very out there. I don't want to even commit to it fully. But it's like just, it's ideas and thoughts and why maybe we should wait for the show rather than judging it straight away. Now, would I prefer if they just came out and say Islet Zare has returned as Vanessa Fisk? Yes. I personally really enjoyed her portrayal. I think she was one of the best parts of the show. I think the fact that she was like this really strong character, but that was stood behind Fisk. She had this power about her, even though she was, again, behind Fisk. That he was trying to protect her to do these things for her. She was egging him on in many ways, and it's a very intriguing dynamic between the two of them. And so I would have liked to see that continue. But I think there's ways you could kind of deal with this. Now, obviously, again, this comes into canonicity because what if this is a thing where we're kind of really now getting the confirmation that the Netflix show isn't canon. Now, again, that doesn't mean that the show is not relevant, not interesting, not worthwhile, because even though the characters are different, the reason that they're using these actors is because of that really good portrayal, that brilliant portrayal. And also, let's just clear this up as well. Just because there might be a tonal shift between the two shows does not mean that one show is better than the other. They're meant to be different. They're not meant to be the same. And that's a thing regardless of whether the continuity is there. Now, personally, I do think that Daredevil, the original Netflix show, is still relevant. The fact that we heard the Daredevil theme, for example, in She-Hulk is relevant. I think this is, in my opinion, a Daredevil that's being played the same way as the original Daredevil. Even some of the stuff in She-Hulk was very reminiscent of that Daredevil, the hallway fight scene, for example. So they're aware of it. They know that the people like the show, and I don't think they're going to do a disservice to it. This might be a little bump in the road, and hopefully we get some type of explanation as to why. If it was, for example, that Islet Zura doesn't want to return or something like that, then great, we know what it is, we can move on. But as of yet, I'm really hoping that it's not recasting for recasting's sake. I hope that this isn't kind of a full reboot. And yeah, I think this is a weird point, and some people are going to very much detract from this show now because of that. I personally won't. I think you still have a potential for something to change with this, something for you have a potential for something interesting to come out of this, should I say. And I think that regardless of what it brings to the table, it's still going to be interesting, and it's still great that we have Charlie Cox as Daredevil in the MCU getting a show. This is something that people fought for years. And yes, it might not be the exact thing you were looking for, but remember that you have, if you are one of these people, hyped yourself up for this for years. Perhaps it's time to take a step back, look at what we are getting, the fact that we are getting more Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and think of it like an Obi-Wan in Star Wars moment. When Ewan McGregor played Obi-Wan, no, it wasn't the best thing on earth, the prequels, but Ewan sold it. Ewan still sold his part. And I think you should see that the same way. Yes, these episodes might not be the best, but you're still getting Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and you're still getting Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. And that is something to be celebrated and enjoyed on its own. As well as John Bernthal and hopefully Kristen Ritter, etc., Mike Coulter, all those amazing actors, they are back. Let's focus more on that, and let's be excited about that still, even if some things have changed and aren't exactly how we want it. Again, some of these things disappoint me, but I'm trying to look at it as with a level head, because, not everything is as straightforward as a recast or being canon, and also it's just art at the end of the day, and not in a horrible way, but like, you can walk away from this if you want. Like, you don't have to watch it. It's not mandatory viewing. So that's my kind of views on the Daredevil situation at the moment. I think it's a very disappointing situation, and I think there was probably better ways about going about this. I think you could have also, for example, if you needed a character for Kingpin in this that was a reason for his motivations for what he's doing, you could have introduced a son, or you could have introduced a new wife, like I was saying. But I think either way, this show will still be interesting and full of good moments and full of excitement, and I can't wait for it to come out. So, with that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you calm down if you are angry about the Daredevil situation. Not to put any coal on the fire, so to speak, but I think this can be just let to simmer for now, to see what turns out of it, and then go from there. So I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you later this week, tomorrow, for the podcast. Thank you guys. And I'll see you later.